Hello and welcome back to Earth and Sky Photo on YouTube. My name is Jeff and we're on holiday break here in the United States and had a little extra time, and I wanted to share with you a resource and a pre-visualization tool that I learned about from some other YouTubers, but we wanted to use in my Astroscape visualization. So this is really for anyone who is doing astroscapes, nightscapes, trying to get some pre-visualization under daylight conditions, or a little bit of an insight into the lay of the land. So if you don't do this, if this isn't your cup of tea, you may not want to watch this video. But if you like landscapes, nightscapes, and want to do some pre-visualization with Google Earth, I'm going to review that with you here today. And I want to give out a shout out to two prominent YouTubers. And if you aren't already subscribing, my guess is you are, but if you aren't, I really encourage you to check out Tony and Chelsea Northrup, their YouTube channel. That's the resource that shared with me the utilization of Google Earth. And also Richard Taddy from Australia, Tatti. Nightscapes is his YouTube channel, and if you're not following him, you need to. He has a great inspiration to not only just nightscapes but photography approach in general. So I want to give a shout out to those two resources, and I'm just trying to contribute my 2 cents here into expanding the knowledge base, and hopefully maybe a resource that you find useful in improving your photographic compositions and visualization in the landscape. So let's dive in here. Let's look at Google Earth and how it can be applied, the tools that are available to us, how to apply those tools, and visualization and what the end results would look like. So thanks for joining me, and let's dive in. So in October, I had a business meeting that was taking place in Las Vegas, and anytime I go out west, I like to dovetail a photographic trip around that. And Death Valley I've been to twice before, and I really enjoy that area. There also happened to be Ian from Lonely Speck was having a photographic outing at Trona Pinnacles in California. So everything was coming together for me to be able to dovetail some photography in. And so I decided on going over into that Sierra, that Southern California area for photography, and working at Trona Pinnacles and into that Death Valley region. So, and another resource that I utilize quite frequently is Robert Hitchman's Photograph America newsletter. This is just a great resource. Anytime you're traveling to a destination you do not have familiarity with, it's just a great resource. And in particular, he's emphasized rhyolite near Beatty, Nevada, and as an abandoned ghost town, as part of one of the gold rush towns from the mid 1800s. And so I thought this started to look like something that might work out for a astroscape location. So that's when I came across the Northrup's Google recommendation on Google Maps and Google Earth. So let's take a look at what you see when you go to Google Earth. And this should be the screenshot that you're capturing. And as you can see here, you have three tools. Google Earth on the web that opens up in Chrome, Google Earth on mobile, that's a nice resource, and Google Earth Pro on the desktop. So let me give you a quick review of what happens. Again, we're going to go to Rhyolite, Nevada. It's right on the outskirts of Death Valley, right on the California-Nevada border. And let's see what happens. Let's just do Google Earth on the web in our Google browser. And one of the first things to do is just go to the search function, and if you start typing in Rhyolite, right there it is, Rhyolite Ghost Town, Beatty, Nevada, and that will start to bring you in there. And it gives you the overhead view. It starts to give you a little hovering viewpoint, but this is exactly where I want to go. So this was the first incident I had of really kind of evaluating this town. So if you take your this is called the street view. You take your little icon here and put it down on the map. It will take you to street view, where you start to access views taken by Google Camera. I believe these are going to almost be exclusive Google Camera captures, not individuals. You'll see in a minute we can access some individual photographs. So, but this is, it's easy to back out of that. This is Google Earth Street View with photographs. And in a minute, I want to show you another option that we have. But you can see here, you can double click, you can move relative to the structures, and you can get an idea, what do things look like in this town? Are there street lights that I would have to deal with? Are there structures I can start to incorporate into a nightscape? What level of, what direction will the Milky Way be? You can see here, you can use this. You got your north compass there. So you can say, all right, this is October. I know the Milky Way is going to be setting in the west, so let me go toward the southwest. And yes, it looks like I could probably capture the Milky Way with this building in the same scene. So that's kind of where I came up with. There are other buildings to pursue here. You can double click and traverse this roadway. Now, not always do you have imagery for Google Earth, but especially high tourist attractions, you do get that. So that's Google Earth, and if you go back to Google Earth on the web, and if you click on the photosphere, you end up in this area where you can select photographs taken by individuals. And so that's where this takes you, is you start to see an archive of photos that people have tagged from that geotagged at that location, and you can start to get an idea where the sun sets. I don't know, it looks like that was May of 18, so that looks probably about right. May sunset, that's, yeah, similar to the October sunset, so in that direction. So you can start to pick up more information by referencing this street view photo archive. And again, that all is on the web-based Google Earth on the web. So if you go to Google Earth Pro on the desktop, it opens up a lot more features. Now, I've already gone to the location here, and again, you can explore this to your heart's content. But as you see here up in the upper right, we have an icon here with the human icon that gives you the street view. And again, you're going to access, I believe this is Google Cars capturing of that scene. So it's very helpful, but here's the magic of using Google Earth Pro on your desktop. You see this icon here? This takes you into a 3D structure presentation. Give it a second. There we go. Give us our structure. And now not everywhere has this structural presentation. Okay? I was just very fortunate that Rhyolite happened to have this structure. Now the other thing you get with this combination is a timeline up here. So you get that beautiful magic of being able to scroll the timeline to see what happens as the sun traverses the sky. Now you can zoom in and out on this timeline. I'm not going to do that here, but what it does, it just broadens and narrows the gap in the timeline, the interval that you're going to be pursuing, and that is, it can be on a daily basis or a monthly basis, down to an hour, down to, I believe, a minute basis. But I think I have it set up here for the hour. So the day I was out there was October 17th and 18th. And so now I can really start to visualize. So I had that building. I knew it was in the west. I'm like, so what happens after sunset? Well, Google may know everything, but here's a big weakness in this. You can get around it. But as you see here, this is the Orion constellation. This is the winter Milky Way they have setting in the west in October. And that's not accurate. So I tried to send a troubleshooting and a recommendation to Google via their feedback here on Google Earth, and it did not go through. So I'm not sure what the problem is there. So you can see where the sun is. You can see how things are going to look relative to the sky. But in this case, what I wanted to do is just go ahead and get that summer Milky Way, and I have to go to the morning, but I can still see how the Milky Way, they do have that, I believe, pretty accurately represented, the Milky Way in the sky relative to the building and relative to the landscape. So I think that part, they nailed that part. I'll show you here in a second. You'll see how this composition works out. So this is how the Milky Way is going to look in rhyolite at the National Bank building. And as you can see here, it's pretty dark. And so this is back off the street, and I wanted to be as close to the building as possible. So unfortunately, the way Google has misrepresented the Milky Way galaxy in the sky, you don't get the exact timings, but you know when it's going to happen after sunset. So this is kind of the way the Milky Way is going to be represented with that building in silhouette. So that was my composition, and that's what we came up with. And so this is the actual image itself that came about from that visualization. I had never been to rhyolite. I had never been to this part of Nevada, but by utilizing the Google Earth resources, you can get there well in advance of your trip, do a lot of very effective pre-visualization. And with the Google Earth Pro on the desktop, you can really start to dial in exactly what happens throughout the course of a day with regards to sunshine. You can see how this would be incredibly effective for just landscape photography. You can start to get an idea as to how the light is falling on the scene and how to factor in exactly when sunset is and what's going to happen with mountains' effect on sunset. So it's an incredibly powerful tool to utilize. I hope that Google does eventually get feedback that their Milky Way representation's a little inaccurate. So that is a wrap on the Google Earth, how to utilize the web-based components, which are great for visualization, and you can see others' photography of the location. You can also see how Google Car has captured it. But really the power is in the Google Earth Pro on your desktop. That's where you can visualize and change the timeline, and they will represent sunlight on the landscape as well as night sky in the landscape. With a little reconfiguration on your part, you can really utilize that visualization very effectively before you get to your location. And I even use this in my backyard to save me some time scouting out some locations. So I encourage you to give it a try. I hope you found this video useful in your pre-visualization for your landscapes and your nightscape and astroscape photography. Again, give me a like and subscribe. We'll produce this content when I think I got something unique to provide. And thanks so much for watching, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2020.